everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I know I have been trying to get these videos going. I'm trying to find a time that I can actually stick to. I thought 3 o'clock would be good, but it seems as though 3 o'clock is my nap time. So I'm going to, I guess, start doing the videos a little bit later to ensure that they get done. I posted a poll today on which video topic I should choose because I originally was going to do a video on kinetic versus potential. And the more this day went on, I've been thinking about kinetic versus potential all week. But y'all, hold on one second. I'm trying to multitask, so right now I'm trying to take my shoes off so I can get comfortable. All right, here we go. So I thought about doing a kinetic versus potential video, and I'd been thinking about it all week. I'd been meditating on it all week. I'd been, kind of going there. And then today decided to do a video on forgiveness. And so I was like, well, I don't really know which one to do. I don't know which one to do. I'll ask my viewers. And so I put up a poll and waited to see what would happen with that. And it seemed very divided. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just think about it and kind of meditate on it a little bit. Talk to God about it and see what he wants me to do. Because again, this whole channel, this whole page, all my videos, everything is going to be connected to what God wants me to do. And so I asked God, okay, Lord, which one do you want me to do? And he revealed that, y'all excuse the noise, Mojo just got here. For those of you that don't know, Mojo is my dog. He's so playful. But anyway, he was outside. He just walked in. So, I sat down and I talked to God about it, and he kind of revealed to me that the topic of both videos went hand in hand, and so that I needed to discuss both of them. So that's what we're going to do. Tonight we're going to discuss forgiveness and potential versus kinetic. So, for those of you who don't know, and this is something that I learned a long time ago, but because I teach middle schoolers and my best friend is a science teacher, it's something that I've seen again in recent years. Kinetic versus potential. In science, potential energy is basically the energy that's built up inside of an object before an object moves. It has the potential to do whatever it's going to do. That stored up energy is your potential energy. Once you start actually moving, once whatever the object is that has the potential energy, once it gets going, that causes your kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is when your energy is moving. Hey, Adora. So, keep that in mind. Potential energy is the energy that's inside before it's what's moving inside, what's stored up inside before things start moving. And then once things start moving, that's your kinetic energy. That's what's being used as kinetic energy. And so I was thinking about that kinetic energy versus potential energy, and I kept thinking about it, And the more I thought about it, I was like, sometimes we get into the habit of, especially when we are dating, this is more so for my dating people, we get into the habit of looking at people in their potential. Oh, he has the potential to be this amazing man. But here's what I really want us to think about. If the person that we are talking to, whether it's a dating situation, whether it's a friendship situation, if we are surrounding ourselves with people who have great potential, but their energy never becomes kinetic, we need to let that go. Or we need to push them. And I know it's going to sound really crazy, but if we always look at the energy that this person has stored in them, and we're always focusing on how great they can be, but we never push them to be that, we never do anything to help them move that energy along, help them move that greatness along, then what's our purpose? What are we here for? 180. That's the number of days that students in Shelby County schools go to school. That's the number of days that I am actually looking at the face of a child. 180 days. And that's not including, like the days where teachers have to go to work but students don't, or special PD training classes and all of that kind of stuff. It's just the number of days where a child is physically sitting in front of me in my care. Now, every child that comes through the door has a ton of built up potential energy, potential everything. They have the potential to be an amazing student. They have the potential to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. They have the potential to be a football player, basketball player. They have the potential to be a nurse. They have the potential to be contractors and forklift drivers and 18-wheeler drivers. They have all this potential inside of them. And as an educator, it is my job to push them into that destiny, to push them into being who they are destined and designed to be. So if I am not pushing them, if I'm not doing my job, it's easy to see when I'm not doing my job, because then you have those people who are very critical of everything that teachers do, and they're going to be the ones to say, well, my child is not flourishing in your class, and they can point it out real quick. Hi, April. So they could point it out real quick when a teacher is not doing their job. You can tell when a child is not growing. That growing is the kinetic energy. That light bulb going off in their head, showing them that they could be great. That's that kinetic energy. That aha moment that teachers live for, that's kinetic energy. But when they walked through the door, they were full of potential. Now, it's my job to push them. But if parents are not doing their job to push their child to reach, going past that potential, because everybody says you can reach your potential, but again, potential energy is standing still. So for illustration purposes, I want you to think of a ball. I have a ball in my hand. The ball is sitting in my hand, full of potential. That's your student. That's your spouse. That's your best friend. They're full of potential. Especially with spouses, with significant others. We're real good at seeing the potential in people, but not actually pushing them. So if I take that ball and I throw that ball, the very second it leaves before it even leaves my hand, once my hand cocks back to throw it, I'm starting to move that potential energy into being kinetic. And once I throw it, it's going through the air and it's using all the kinetic energy it can use. It's just burning it up. We want to make sure that we are taking the people in our lives and we're pushing them past sitting still and just being in your hand. You have a significant other that says, you know what, I think I want to go back to school. Well, are you helping to push them into going back to school? Or are you just going, that's nice, darling? Come on. Are we pushing each other to reach our dreams and goals and aspirations? Or are we just giving them a pat on the back, because a pat on the back doesn't push them. We have to actually start pushing one another. And I want us to make sure that we are pushing one another to being our best selves. Now, in the beginning of this video, I said that my other topic that I wanted to speak on tonight was forgiveness. And I've realized that these two topics go hand in hand, because you can't push somebody if you don't forgive them. I recently, in the last, I'll say, day or so. Well, no, let me back up. For the last 3 years, my church has had different prophets come in. I've gone to other places and had prophecies, spoken to me, and every last one of them talked about how I need to forgive. God has all of these wonderful things in store for me, but he can't bless me with those things until I forgive some things. And I was holding on to some things, and he wants me to let them go. And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good. But the fact that I was having several people tell me this, I was like, well, I don't know what these people are talking about. These prophets are full of it. Like, some of them, I literally wrote them off as terrible prophets, because in my mind, they just didn't know what they were talking about. So it wasn't until today that my pastor got up, and his message was not on forgiveness. Let's start there. My pastor's initial message was not on forgiveness, but toward the end of his sermon, he said some things that struck a chord with me. And I started to think about it and realized there were some people that I'd not forgiven, people that I'd kind of erased from my mind. And that made me think, well, maybe other people are doing the same thing. And we don't realize how not forgiving people will make us heavy. We're carrying around so much unnecessary heavy stuff that it starts to cover the potential that we have. We want to let go of some of these burdens, some of this anger, some of this hurt. When you let that stuff go, when you actually honestly forgive somebody, like my pastor said, it doesn't mean that because I forgive you, I'm going to continue to let you do the same stuff to me. That's not what that means. But what that does mean is every time I think about that situation, every time I think about what happened, what you said, what you did, I'm going to forgive you all over again. And I wasn't doing that. In my mind, if I forgave you one time and I let it go, in my mind, I've done what I'm supposed to do. But it wasn't until today that I realized I would forgive you that first time. But every time I thought about it, it could be years from now. It could be months from now. Every time it came back to my remembrance, I would get mad at you all over again. And I wouldn't forgive you that second time, that third time, that 8th time, that 99th time. I wouldn't forgive you. I forgave you the first time, and in my mind it was over and it was done with. But I didn't realize how much anger I was holding in because of that. And because of me holding in so much anger and being and feeling so hurt, what that caused me to do was to be heavy. So that when the people around me who care about me the most are trying to push me past my potential into being kinetic, I would miss it. I would struggle against them. It's like trying to be by yourself and push a boulder, because you're heavy. So the question that I want to ask you all tonight is, are you creating the right potential? Are you looking past somebody's potential? Because if you're not looking past their potential and you're just creating a boulder because you're so heavy, then we got some work to do. I don't want us to be heavy. So first we need to forgive some folks. I understand that boyfriend that you had, he was terrible. I promise you, I understand. He may have abused you. He may have done XYZ. He may have cheated. Who cares? Forgive him. Move on. And it sounds like, duh, this is so easy, or this shouldn't be that hard, but it's easier said than done. But this is probably the one time that it's really not that hard. Here's how you do it. You go, I forgive you. And you mean it. That's it. You can't let the hurt that somebody else caused you make you become somebody else. You can't change who you are. Especially if you are generally a happy, outgoing person, you can't let other people bring that down. And not forgiving people is what'll bring you down. It'll make you heavy. And then once you become lighter, it's easier to push you into being kinetic and not just potential. We want to be bigger and better than our potential energy. We want to go past, oh, we sound good. We look good. We're saying the right stuff. You know, sometimes our potential is being blocked because we don't forgive ourselves. One of the many things that I fuss at myself about is years ago, there's this very popular show that I don't even know if it still comes on BET. It was called 106 in Park. It was like videos and stuff. April, look, I'm just doing what the Lord say do. But there was this show 106 in Park. And when I was in college, as soon as I graduated, I got back home and I was working for News Channel 3. I was there maybe about a year and then I lost my job. One of my professors called me and was like, hey, Ashley, I need you to send me a video clip of you as if you were hosting a show. And I was like, okay, I could do that. And she never did tell me what it was for. She just said, I need you to send me this clip. I said, okay. And I procrastinated. I just kept putting it off. She kept emailing me. She kept calling me. And she was like, hey, did you get around to making that video? And after a while, I was just like, you know what? I don't really think I'm, going to do it. She was like, well, it's for a job. And I know you'd be great for the job. And I was like, okay. And then I kept putting it off. Well, I found out after a while, she was like, well, they need to go ahead and make a decision and they were waiting on me. So what do you want to do? And I was like, well, go ahead. I'm good where I am. Because by this point I was in Memphis. I'd met Dre. We were on again, off again at that point. It was just like, I'm good where I'm at. You go right ahead. And she ended up calling a couple of other people. And then I found out that the video she wanted me to do, she was good friends with some of the producers for 106 in Park. And they were looking for a new host. And they asked her if she knew anybody. And they were going to hire her recommendation. And so I missed out on an amazing opportunity because I was procrastinating, because I was being lazy. And it was like I understood that at the time. Where my issue started to lie was every time I saw 106 in Park, I would get mad at myself all over again. Every time somebody would mention videos, I would get mad at myself all over again. Every time I would look at my bank account and get sad because money wasn't where I thought it should be, I would get all in my feelings and I'd be like, dang, if I had took that job with 106 in Park, I wouldn't have to worry about money because I'd be set. Like I was really mad at myself. I was really kicking myself. And it wasn't until today that I realized I never forgave myself for not taking that job. Now, did I understand why I needed to miss that job? Yes, because if I had took that, unless something miraculous happened, unless it, which I can't say I don't see, but God is who He is. The way things worked out for me, not going to take that job, I was able to start teaching. I was able to meet my husband. Like there's so many wonderful things that came out of me not taking that job. But the fact that I carried around so much anger towards myself that I have not reached my fullest potential ever. I've not pushed myself into being kinetic However, because of the anger and frustration that I held against me, I didn't forgive me. So if I don't forgive me, how can I push past being potential? Like, the goal here is to always be kinetic. So being kinetic, that I put out a video about being dream chasers, dream killers, and dream catchers. When you are a dream chaser, you're going after whatever your dream is. When you're being a dream chaser, you're kinetic. Dream killers can usually stand in one spot and just say what they need to say, and that kills the dream. They don't have to do a whole lot of movement. So if we're going to be dream killers, we don't have to worry about using our potential energy. But if we are going to be dream chasers and dream catchers, we've got to move past being potential and moving into being kinetic. So I'm going to be kinetic. I want you guys to be kinetic. And I want everybody to forgive, even if you have to forgive yourself. Because some of the decisions we make, even though they feel like dumb decisions, they feel like we've messed up, it's okay. And you just have to forgive yourself and move on. Because God already forgave you. So why are you not forgiving you? The people in your life, whether they were somebody in your past or somebody really, really close to you, somebody you still look at every day. I had a coworker who I had to add her to my list of people who I did not forgive, because this particular coworker started to go around and say negative things about me, and I would get so angry with her to the point where every time somebody mentioned her name, my whole attitude would get turned. Like, this face, I used to make it every time she walked in the room. She didn't have to say anything. I just felt some kind of way about her. And I had right to feel the way that I felt about her, because she, like I said, would speak so negatively about me. But then today I finally realized, one, I need to forgive her. Because while she walking around feeling fabulous, look fabulous, or whatever the case is, I'm the one that's messed up about what she said, what she did. And man, too, what she said, it because of who I am, and I continue to be who I am. The people that she was telling all of the lies to, none of them believed her anyway. So it became important to me to realize, why am I letting somebody who their opinion of me does not matter, what they said about me does not matter, why am I letting them control my energy? I'm like, that's dumb. I'm seeing this woman at work every day, and I'm like, so when I see her tomorrow, my energy is going to be different, because I have forgiven. And every time I think about it, I'm going to forgive, because I want to be kinetic. And I want all of us to be kinetic. So if you got some people that you have not forgiven, some people that you still mad at, or somebody that you told them, yeah, I forgave you, but every time you think about it, you get mad all over again, you didn't really forgive them, girl. Homeboy, you didn't do what you thought you did. And I want us to be great. So here's what we're going to do. This week's challenge, I told y'all, every week we get a new challenge. So this week's challenge is going to be our forgiveness challenge. First of all, what we're going to do is every day for the next 7 days, I want us to think of one person that we need to forgive. And we're going to start our day off by saying that person's name, I forgive you for, and then fill in the blank. So, even whether it's mom or dad, whether it's husband, wife, whether it's best friend, co-worker, old teachers. You got some old teachers that you ain't forgave. They looked at you wrong, or you felt like they were holding you back, and you were mad at that teacher, and you ain't forgave that one teacher from first grade who every time you tried to answer a question, she wouldn't even look at you. You still mad at her. You don't even realize how you mad at her. Let it go. So whatever teacher that was, Miss Gray, I forgive you. Because I was probably the only little black girl in that woman's class. And I felt like sometimes she wasn't, I don't really think she liked me. And that's all right. Miss Flowers, my pre-algebra teacher at Whitehaven, I know that woman didn't like me. But you know what? I forgive her anyway. I've had some teachers in the past who have said some things that I was just like, oh, well, that wasn't of God. And it's okay to just be like, you know what? You said what you said, but it did not, I'm not going to let something that's 25, 30 years old, I'm not going to let it hold me back anymore. I'm not going to let it crush my dreams anymore. So I forgive you. I'm going to let it go. So 7 days, I want you to find one person and I want you to let it go. I want you to forgive them. And you need to name what you're forgiving them for. Because sometimes just saying I forgive you ain't enough. Because you can use that as your cover. It sounds nice. I want you to be specific. Lord, I'm forgiving this person for this reason. Let's start being a little more intentional in what we say. Second challenge for the week. We're going to do something to move our potential into being kinetic. So after you've forgiven who you're supposed to forgive, I want you to look at your own goals. I want you to look at whatever it is that you want to do to be potential. Whatever potential energy you have inside of you, I want you to find one way that you can make it kinetic this week. When you come back throughout the week, I want you guys to post what happened. Show me your challenges. Did you do it? How did it work out for you? Did it make you a better person? Like, that's what we're here for. This page is a community to help everybody, because I want everybody to be great. So forgive and move into your kinetic. I love you guys. I'm so sorry this video was late. I think we're going to start trying to do these videos around 4, as long as I don't go to sleep. Because that's what happened today. I took a nap. Should not have done that. So I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. I love my chocolate squab. And y'all be easy, breezy.